Rain poured over the city as if the sky had decided to wash away all the sins of humanity. Maya Johnson, a 27-year-old African-American woman, dashed across the sidewalk, her flats slipping on the wet pavement. She clutched a blue umbrella, torn at one corner, as raindrops trickled down the shoulders of her thin coat. Today was an important day, the introduction meeting for the new CEO at Horizon Enterprises, where Maya worked as a temporary staff member in the project department. One small mistake, and her 3-month contract could vanish like smoke. Maya glanced at her wristwatch. 8:15 a.m. She was already 15 minutes late, and just as her ride-hailing app confirmed the booking, the phone screen went black. Dead battery. "Great, Maya," she muttered, shoving the phone into her handbag. "I was late to the meeting, soaked like a drowned rat, and my phone was dead now. Is anyone breaking Monday morning disaster records faster than me?" She stood beneath the awning of a bakery, trying to shield herself from the downpour, eyes scanning for the Uber. The app had described a black sedan, and right then, a sleek, ink-black car glided up and stopped at the red light in front of her. The windows were tinted, but the logo matched what she remembered from the app. No time to hesitate. "Thank God," Maya shouted, dashing out from under the awning. She yanked open the back door and jumped in, collapsing into the leather seat as raindrops splattered everywhere from her hastily folded umbrella. "I'm so late. Step on it, please. Today's the launch day for Horizon Enterprises' new CEO, and if I'm late, I swear they'll fire me before I even sign the official contract. Word is, he's super strict, the type who never smiles. You know what I mean?" The front man, dressed in a flawlessly tailored black suit, slowly turned his head. His grayish-blue eyes quietly studied her through the rearview mirror. His face was sharply defined, square-jawed, and utterly expressionless. He didn't say a word, only furrowed his brow slightly, hands still on the steering wheel. Unaware of the silence, Maya kept talking. "Don't start with the whole, 'sorry, there's traffic' thing, okay? I know. Red lights, GPS acting crazy. But go straight. Then turn right after that cafe with the fancy French name. Oh, and get this. They sell croissants there for $12. 12. I bought one last week, and still feel guilty for spending that kind of money." The man blinked. Once, then twice. His grip on the steering wheel tightened slightly, as if struggling to stay calm. "Miss," he began, voice deep and composed, but Maya cut him off immediately. No, I get it. You're busy, and the passengers are dramatic, but I'm genuinely in a crisis. My alarm didn't go off. My coffee burnt my tongue. And guess what?" She paused, eyes wide with theatrical flair, then lifted the hem of her pants slightly, revealing one sock printed with a kitten hugging a donut, and the other with a slice of pizza. "I'm wearing mismatched socks. Look at this. Kitten and pizza. If the new boss sees me like this, I'm doomed." The man took a deep breath. The traffic light turned green, and he drove off, lips pressed tight, though the corner of his mouth twitched, as if struggling to suppress a smile. Maya exhaled in relief, leaning back against the seat as her wet umbrella soaked the car's floor mat. "Thank you. You're a lifesaver. Sorry, I didn't confirm your name. My phone's dead, but you stopped when I needed you, so you've got to be my ride. Destiny, right? It's like a rom-com, but no romance yet, and honestly, not much comedy." She giggled, but the man only glanced at her through the mirror, eyes both curious and seemingly questioning how he ended up in this situation. "Do you always talk this much?" he asked, voice even, but tinged with amusement. Maya replied only when I was nervous, smoothing back her soaked curls. "Or when I'm in a fancy car like this. Seriously, it smells like new leather and money. I feel richer just sitting here." Are you an Uber driver or a secret millionaire? He didn't answer, tilting his head slightly, as if her question was amusing and absurd. Maya looked out the window and realized the Horizon Enterprises building was nearby. She said, dropping me at the side entrance, trying to fix her hair. Fewer people will see me in this state. If I'd known looking like this was part of the job, I would have signed a contract with a makeup artist instead. The car slowed and stopped precisely at the curb. Maya opened the door and turned to thank him again, but the man was already staring straight ahead, as if the moment meant nothing. "Thanks a lot," she called, hopping out. "I'll give you 5 stars as soon as I charge my phone." She dashed into the building, unaware that the man she had mistaken for an Uber driver was Ethan Carter, the new CEO of Horizon Enterprises. Inside the car, Ethan shook his head, a rare smile flickering on his lips. "Kittens and pizza," he murmured, starting the engine. "How interesting." Maya Johnson rushed into the Horizon Enterprises building, her flats leaving wet streaks across the polished marble floor. Her curly hair clung to her forehead, soaked from the rain, and her white blouse stuck to her shoulders, revealing a popped button. She glanced at the lobby clock. 8:27 a.m. The CEO introduction meeting started 10 minutes ago. "Disaster," she muttered, dashing toward the elevator, trying to smooth her hair and check her mismatched socks. Kitten hugging a donut on the left, a slice of pizza on the right. If I get fired, at least I'll leave a weird impression. Just as the elevator doors were about to close, a kind colleague held them for her. "Maya, are you okay?" he asked, eyes scanning her disheveled appearance. Maya replied that it was about as okay as a cat that fell into a bathtub, forcing a smile. "Thanks for holding the door." When the elevator opened on the 12th floor, Maya weaved through the crowd of employees, trying to blend in so no one would notice her. The main conference room was packed, and whispers about the new CEO were buzzing. Maya found a hidden corner near the door beside her college friend Lisa, who now worked in the communications department. "You almost missed the meeting of the century," Lisa whispered, handing Maya a paper coffee cup. "The new CEO can silence a room with just one look." "I know," Maya sighed, sipping the coffee. "The Uber driver said he never smiles." "Well, actually, I said that, but he didn't deny it." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "Does your Uber driver know the CEO?" "Probably just gossip," Maya shrugged, trying to fix her shirt. His car was ridiculously fancy and smelled like new leather. Maybe he's a millionaire in disguise. Before Lisa could respond, the conference room doors swung open and a heavy silence fell. The coordinator, Ms. Harper, stepped in with a tight smile. "Everyone, please settle down. Our new CEO has arrived." The sound of leather shoes echoed steadily across the wooden floor. A tall man in a perfectly tailored navy blue suit walked in. His features were sharp, and his steely gray-blue eyes scanned the room with chilling precision. Maya felt her heart stop for a second. That man, neatly styled with light brown hair and a commanding stride, was the Uber driver who had picked her up that morning. "No way," Maya whispered, clutching her coffee cup so hard it began to crumble. Lisa glanced at her, concerned. "What? You know him?" Maya didn't answer. She lowered her head, praying the floor would swallow her whole. The coordinator spoke up, voice bright with excitement. "Please welcome Mr. Ethan Carter, the new CEO of Horizon Enterprises." Ethan stepped onto the podium, his gaze sweeping across the crowd. As he began to speak, his voice deep and clear, Maya felt every word hit like a hammer. "I hope my arrival hasn't surprised anyone," he said, then paused, the corner of his mouth lifting ever so slightly. "Especially those who mistook me for an Uber driver this morning. The entire room froze in dead silence. All eyes turned toward Maya, who was shrinking in her corner, face flushed red. The coffee cup trembled in her hand, spilling onto her shirt. Lisa gaped and whispered, "What did you do to have the guts to boss the CEO around?" I didn't know," Maya groaned, hiding her face. "I thought he was Uber. I told him to step on it and turn right, and I even showed him my kitten in pizza socks." Ethan continued, eyes still locked on Maya, his smile hovering between sarcastic and amused. "I look forward to working with all of you, especially those who place blind trust in luxury cars stopping at red lights." A few chuckles echoed from the back, but Maya just wanted to dig a hole and disappear. She had made herself the laughingstock of the entire company, and worse, of the man who held her professional future in his hands. When the meeting ended, people flooded out, and whispers of the Uber girl spread like wildfire. Maya tried to slip away, but Ethan called after her, calm yet commanding. "Ms. Johnson, stay behind momentarily." Maya turned, her legs feeling like lead. Lisa patted her on the shoulder and whispered, "Good luck. If you survive, tell me everything." Ethan stood near the conference table, one hand in his pocket, eyes studying her like an intriguing puzzle. "Do you usually jump into strangers' cars and start barking orders?" he asked, a hint of teasing in his tone. Maya swallowed hard, trying to keep her voice professional. "Mr. Carter, I apologize. My phone died. The car matched the app description exactly, and I panicked. I didn't mean any disrespect." "Panicked," Ethan repeated, tilting his head. "And that led you to show off kitten socks and complain about $12 croissants?" Maya's face burned. "It's how I cope with stress. I won't let it happen again, sir." Ethan stepped closer, his gaze softening though still sharp. "I don't fire people over mistakes, Ms. Johnson, but I do need to know you can do your job well. The project department is disorganized. I want you to audit all office equipment on the 10th floor, printers, coffee machines, projectors. Report to me by the end of the week." Maya blinked, unsure if this was punishment or opportunity. Yes, sir. I'll do it." "Good," Ethan said, turning to leave. But just before exiting the room, he added, "And next time, check the driver's name before yelling, 'Step on it.'" Maya stood there, heart pounding. She had narrowly escaped disaster, but Ethan's stern and slightly amused gaze left her feeling something strange. She shook her head, telling herself to stay focused. "No daydreaming, Maya," she muttered, stepping out of the room. "He's the boss, not a rom-com character." But deep down, she knew this encounter was only the beginning of something much bigger. Maya Johnson stood in the middle of the 10th floor of Horizon Enterprises, holding a small notebook, a pen wedged between her fingers, and an accidental streak of blue ink smudged on her cheek. In front of her, a printer groaned and rattled, as if trying to tell a tragic story. The task assigned to her by Ethan Carter, the new CEO and accidental Uber driver, had sounded simple. Check the office equipment, printers, coffee machines, projectors, and submit a report by the end of the week. But after just 1 hour, Maya realized this was anything but easy. "Miss Printer," Maya muttered, tapping the machine gently. "If you don't cooperate, I'm calling a technician, and they won't be as gentle as I am." She was no stranger to chaos. Before working as a temp at Horizon, Maya had been an assistant for a nonprofit in Chicago, where she had to manage dozens of outdated office machines, from temperamental projectors to coffee machines that only worked if you prayed hard enough. Her organizational skills and ability to adapt had been forged in those days. But standing here on the 10th floor, with curious eyes watching her, she felt more pressure than ever. She checked her list. The printer in room B had a paper jam. The coffee machine on the 9th floor dripped like it was crying. and a light in the meeting room flickered like a disco ball. Maya sighed, rolled up her sleeves, and braced herself. "Okay, Maya," she whispered. "If you survived mistaking the CEO for an Uber driver, this printer's nothing." She started with the printer, opened the paper tray, and pulled out a crumpled sheet stuck inside. "Victory, step 1, she declared, holding up the sheet like a trophy. A passing employee. Tom from the IT department laughed. "Are you talking to the printer, Johnson?" "She started it," Maya replied with a wink. "And can you help me with the coffee machine? It's having an existential crisis." Tom agreed, and the two moved to the pantry. The coffee machine, a sleek stainless steel model that looked more expensive than Maya's rent, leaked onto the counter. Maya wiped the surface, checked the buttons, and found a loose hose. "There it is," she said, tightening it like an amateur plumber. When she powered it on, a rich stream of coffee flowed out. Tom clapped. "You're a wizard." "Just experience from battling stubborn machines at my old job," Maya laughed. "It taught me that sometimes you need a little twist and some patience." She noted everything in her notebook. The coffee machine hose was tightened and working. Printer, paper jam, needs technician follow-up. Light, replace the bulb. Her list was growing longer, but she felt a new surge of energy. This wasn't just a task to redeem her from this morning's embarrassment. Her chance was to prove she was more than the clumsy Uber girl. While checking the flickering light in a small meeting room, Maya heard the familiar sound of leather shoes. She turned, and her heart skipped a beat as Ethan Carter stood at the door, hands in his pockets, his gray-blue eyes fixed on her. His suit was still immaculate, but there was a slight ease in his stance, as if he were trying to appear less intimidating. "Ms. Johnson," he said in that calm, deep voice. "How's the progress?" Maya was startled, nearly dropping her notebook. She quickly wiped the ink smudge on her cheek, hoping he hadn't noticed. "Mr. Carter, things are manageable. The printer's a bit stubborn. The coffee machine has surrendered. And the light," she pointed upward, "blinks like it's trying to send an SOS." Ethan stepped into the room and looked up at the light. "SOS," he repeated, the corner of his mouth twitching. "Who do you think is calling for help?" Maya replied before thinking. "Probably me." Then quickly added, I've got it under control, sir. I'll finish the report on time." Ethan tilted his head, eyes drifting to her notebook filled with notes. "I don't doubt that. But you seem unusually dedicated to a task most would consider trivial." Maya shrugged, keeping her tone light. "I used to work at a nonprofit, sir. When the budget's tight, everything matters, from printers to coffee. I learned not to underestimate the small stuff." Ethan nodded as if absorbing new information. "Nonprofit work," he said. "What did you do there?" "Project management assistant," Maya replied, a bit surprised by the question. "I organized events, managed equipment, and sometimes even did bookkeeping. It was nothing glamorous, but it taught me how to adapt." "Adaptability," Ethan repeated, his gaze softening. "Useful skill, especially here, where things can fall apart at any moment." Maya smiled, feeling some of her nerves fade. Like when someone jumps into the boss's car and yells, "Step on it." Ethan chuckled, a short, genuine sound that caught Maya off guard. He quickly composed himself, but his eyes still sparkled. "Exactly. Carry on, Ms. Johnson. I look forward to your report." He turned to leave but paused at the door and said, without looking back, "Wipe the ink off your cheek. You look like you lost a fight with the printer." Maya touched her cheek, blushing. "Thank you." "Sir," she murmured, hearing his footsteps fade. She looked down at her notebook, heart pounding, unsure if it was from embarrassment or the rare smile from Ethan. Focus, Maya, she told herself, though the corners of her mouth lifted. He's just the boss. Just the boss. She turned back to her work, but the weight of Ethan's gaze lingered like a quiet promise that challenges, and perhaps something more, awaited her ahead. Maya Johnson stepped into the grand lobby of Horizon Enterprises, where the company's 10th anniversary celebration was in full swing. The space shimmered under warm golden lights, with sparkling banners printed with the company logo and a buffet table overflowing with mini sandwiches bearing French names no one dared to pronounce aloud. Maya, dressed in a simple yet elegant black dress, tried to blend into the crowd. After 3 days of battling printers, coffee machines, and flickering lights on the 10th floor, she submitted her report to Ethan Carter on time. She hoped tonight would be peaceful. No accidents, no embarrassment. But fate, as always, had other plans. Lisa, her best friend and communications department colleague, pulled Maya into a corner of the room, eyes gleaming. You look great, Maya. Ready to be a star? A star? Maya frowned, clutching her glass of orange juice. I want to eat a sandwich, not spill anything, and go home before anyone remembers the Uber driver incident. Lisa giggled. Too late. You've been trending since yesterday's report. Tom from It's been telling everyone how you rescued the coffee machine like a superhero. And Carter. Lisa lowered her voice and praised your report in this morning's management meeting. He said you had an eye for detail. Maya blinked, her heart skipping. Ethan, Mr. Carter praised me? It's probably more like, this one didn't blow up the office good enough. No, Lisa smirked. It's more like, this one has potential. Watch out, Maya. He doesn't compliment people easily. Before Maya could respond, a man in a gray suit approached, holding a microphone. Excuse me, you're a Horizon employee, right? He asked, a bit breathless. I'm Paul from Business Pulse magazine. We need a quick soundbite for an article on the new CEO. Can I ask you a few questions? Just 2 minutes. Maya froze. Me? But I'm just a temp. Maybe you should ask someone from management? No. We want the perspective of regular staff. What's your name? Paul signaled to a cameraman behind him, and the red light on the camera blinked. Maya Johnson, she replied, feeling like she'd just been shoved onto a stage with no script. Great. Maya, what do you think of the new CEO, Mr. Ethan Carter? What's it like working with him? Paul asked, and the microphone pointed straight at her. Maya swallowed hard, her mind spinning. She thought of that fateful car ride, Ethan's gray-blue eyes, and his rare smile when she wiped the ink from her cheek. He's strict, she began, searching for words. But not scary strict. He has a sense of humor. It's just buried deep, like treasure you have to dig for. He makes the company feel more alive, faster paced, and a bit tense, because he wants everything to be perfect. Paul nodded, eyes lighting up. And what do employees say about him? There are rumors he's too demanding. Demanding? Maya laughed, relaxing a little. He wants reports on time, hot coffee, and maybe even printers that don't jam. But he's fair. If you do well, he notices. A memorable moment with him? Paul asked, excited. Maya nearly mentioned the car incident but stopped herself, smiling instead. Let's say he's good at surprising you. When you think you're about to fail, he knows you'll figure it out. Paul clapped. Perfect. Thank you, Maya. This is going to be hot. He and the cameraman vanished into the crowd, leaving Maya stunned. Wait, that was an official interview? She mumbled, staring after them. Lisa clapped her on the back, laughing loudly. You just called the CEO a buried treasure. On camera, you're so dead. Maya covered her face. If I get fired, you're feeding me, Lisa. But Maya wasn't fired. The next morning, her interview video appeared on Horizon's internal website under the headline, Employee Offers Fresh Perspective on CEO Ethan Carter. The clip quickly spread across the company, from boardrooms to staff chat groups. Co-workers started calling her the interview girl, and a few even jokingly asked for her autograph on paper coffee cups. Maya felt embarrassed and bewildered, but deep down, a little proud. Amid the storm of rumors, an email from Ethan appeared in Maya's inbox. Subject: Investor Dinner. The body was brief. Ms. Johnson, I need you to attend tomorrow's investor dinner at 7 p.m. at La Belle Restaurant. Be punctual. EC. Maya read it again and again, her heart racing. Investor dinner? She whispered. With me? A temp? Lisa, sitting beside her, glanced at the screen. Oh my God, Maya! This isn't a regular assignment. This is a I trust you from the big boss. But be careful. I've heard Mrs. Clarkson, one of the investors, is very enthusiastic about Carter. Enthusiastic how? Maya asked, frowning. The kind that wants to tango with him and talk marriage. Lisa laughed. Maybe he needs you as a human shield. Maya shook her head, but couldn't deny a small spark of excitement. She replied to the email in her most professional tone. Mr. Carter, I will be there. MJ. But as she hit send, she wondered if Ethan had invited her because of the interview, the 10th floor report, or something else entirely. She stood up, picked up her glass of orange juice, and whispered to herself, Maya, don't start daydreaming. This is work, not a romance movie. Yet Ethan's eyes in the meeting room, that rare smile when she spoke of printers, kept lingering in her mind, like a silent promise of things to come. Maya Johnson stood in front of the mirror in her small apartment, turning slightly to check the navy blue dress she had chosen for the investor dinner. The dress fits just right, knee-length, professional, yet with a touch of elegance. She smoothed her curly hair, silently thanking Lisa for convincing her to wear this instead of the looks like a lawyer suit she had almost gone with. She murmured brilliant but a little dangerous, recalling Ethan Carter's note in the email. Wear something that says you're smart, but also dangerous. She checked the clock. 6:30 p.m. La Belle was 20 minutes away, and Maya had no intention of being late, especially since Ethan had emphasized, be punctual. She slipped on her nude heels, took a deep breath, and reminded herself, this is just work, Maya, not a date. Don't let those gray-blue eyes throw you off. But the moment she stepped into La Belle, the restaurant's opulent atmosphere made her pause. Dim, romantic lighting, the soft strains of a violin, and servers moving like ballet dancers. It felt like she'd walked into a Hollywood film. She glanced around, searching for Ethan, and her heart fluttered when she saw him standing near the host's podium, dressed in a charcoal gray suit, his light brown hair neatly combed, sharp eyes softening slightly when he saw her. Ms. Johnson, Ethan said as he approached, a faint smile flickering. Right on time. I'm impressed. I circled the block for 10 minutes to make sure, Maya replied lightly. I didn't want a repeat of the step on it incident. Ethan chuckled, a short, genuine sound that caught Maya off guard. He gestured for her to follow. Come on, our target is at table 7. And be cautious of Mrs. Clarkson. Mrs. Clarkson? Maya asked, walking beside him past white linen-covered tables. Lead investor Ethan lowered his voice. Very influential, very wealthy, and very fond of tango. especially with me. Your mission is to help me avoid dance invitations." Maya raised a brow, half joking. "So, I'm your human shield? Or an undercover bodyguard?" "Smart shield," Ethan corrected, eyes glinting. "You've proven you're quick on your feet. I trust you'll come up with something." They reached the table, where Mrs. Clarkson was already seated. A platinum blonde woman in a striking red dress stood when she saw Ethan. "Ethan, my gentleman!" she exclaimed, placing a hand on his shoulder, her perfume wafting in thick waves. "I've been dying to see you all week." Ethan smiled politely, subtly stepping back. "Mrs. Clarkson, lovely to see you again. This is Maya Johnson, my special assistant on integration matters." Maya extended her hand, offering a confident smile. "It is a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Clarkson." Mrs. Clarkson shook her hand, eyes scanning Maya from head to toe, as if assessing a rival. "Interesting," she said, her voice sweet but edged with coolness. "How long have you been working with Ethan?" "Long enough to know he likes his coffee hot and his reports on time," Maya replied, her smile steady. Ethan cleared his throat, hiding a smile. Dinner began with business talk, investment strategies, expansion plans, and financial figures that made Maya's head spin. She listened, mentally taking notes, occasionally offering short but sharp insights based on her experience managing events at the nonprofit. Ethan glanced at her several times, his look suggesting he was quietly impressed with her poise. But Mrs. Clarkson was not easily distracted. As appetizers were served, she leaned toward Ethan, eyes gleaming. "Ethan, you must promise to dance with me at the upcoming investor gala. I've been perfecting a tango just for you." Ethan offered a strained smile, shooting a glance at Maya. That was the signal. Maya immediately spoke up, her tone calm but assertive. "Mr. Carter, sorry to interrupt. I just remembered that the project team flagged a critical issue with the quarterly report. Shall I book a private room for you to take the call?" Mrs. Clarkson frowned slightly, but Ethan nodded. "Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I'll take care of it after the main course." Later, when Mrs. Clarkson suggested Ethan give her a private tour of the company headquarters over the weekend, Maya stepped in again. "Mr. Carter, sorry, but your weekend schedule is packed with strategic meetings. I could arrange a guided tour with the communications team." Ethan nodded appreciatively, eyes sparkling. "Excellent idea, Ms. Johnson." By dessert, Mrs. Clarkson had lost interest. She stood, offered Ethan a cool handshake, and left with a stiff smile. Maya exhaled, but when she turned to Ethan, he watched her with a look she couldn't quite read. "You're a natural performer," he said in his low voice. "I almost believed there was an urgent call." "Just survival skills," Maya shrugged, masking a grin. "I used to coordinate events for difficult donors. Mrs. Clarkson's not the first I've had to redirect." Ethan tilted his head as if discovering a new layer to her. "You keep surprising me, Ms. Johnson." They walked out of the restaurant together. The night air was cool, the streetlights reflecting off the damp pavement from an earlier drizzle. Ethan escorted her to the waiting taxi. Before she got in, he said, voice low and sincere, "You look dangerous tonight, Maya. Not just smart, but very impressive." Maya felt heat rise to her cheeks, her heart racing. "Thank you, Mr. Carter," she replied, trying to keep her tone steady. "But next time you need a shield, I'm charging." Ethan laughed, a real laugh that lit up his otherwise serious face. "Deal. Good night, Ms. Johnson." As the taxi pulled away, Maya leaned back in her seat, her heart still pounding. She repeated his words in her mind. Dangerous. Impressive. But when she looked out the window, she noticed Ethan had already returned to his composed self, as if he were holding something back. She couldn't help but wonder, was this a step forward, or just a fleeting spark before everything returned to normal. Maya Johnson walked into Horizon Enterprises on Monday morning carrying a latte and a feeling she couldn't quite name. Last night, she still floated from Ethan Carter's words at La Belle. "You look dangerous tonight, Maya. Not just smart, but very impressive." Those words and his rare smile kept playing in her mind like an unshakable melody. But as she sat at her desk and checked her emails, a creeping unease settled in. Her inbox was empty. No message from Ethan, thank you, or new assignments. Only the usual automated meeting reminders. "That's odd," Maya muttered, taking a sip of her coffee. She glanced at Lisa's desk, where her friend was typing rapidly. "Lisa, do you think something's different with Mr. Carter today?" Lisa looked up, frowning. "Different how? Do you mean he didn't pass by with that 'I'm the CEO and I know everything' look?" "Exactly," Maya said in a low voice. "After the investor dinner, I thought, I don't know, maybe he'd give me something new to work on or say something, but nothing. Total silence." Lisa tilted her head, eyes twinkling. "Oh, someone was hoping for an email that said, 'Ms. Johnson, you saved me from a tango. I owe you a coffee.' Am I right?" Maya glared. "It's not like that. It's just that he complimented and smiled at me, and now it's like I'm invisible. Did I do something wrong?" Lisa shrugged and turned back to her screen. "Maybe he's just busy. He may be a CEO, Maya. They don't send thank you notes, but if you're worried, ask him directly. You're the one who told him to step on it, remember?" Maya gave a dry chuckle, but a storm of doubt was brewing inside. She opened her project files, trying to focus, but every new email notification made her jump, hoping it was from Ethan. Around noon, she finally received one from him, but its coldness chilled her. "Ms. Johnson, please send the anniversary event summary before 5 p.m. EC. No greeting. No warmth." She sent the report on time, adding a polite note. "Report completed, Mr. Carter. Let me know if you need any revisions. MJ." But no reply came. The next day, she ran into Ethan in the hallway. He gave her a curt nod and said, "Good morning," in a neutral tone, like she was just another employee, not the woman who had helped him escape Mrs. Clarkson. Maya returned the smile, but her heart sank. By the third day, she couldn't take it anymore. She found Lisa in the break room, munching on a granola bar. "Lisa, I need you to be honest," Maya said, sitting across from her. "Ethan, Mr. Carter is avoiding me, isn't he? Did I mess up? Was I too casual at dinner? Is it the interview video?" Lisa stopped chewing, her expression sobering. "Maya, I don't think you did anything wrong. But—" She lowered her voice and looked around to ensure no one was listening. "I've heard a few things from HR. Carter had a relationship years ago, when he was a director at his former company. The woman was a subordinate, and things didn't end well." Maya blinked, surprised. "It didn't end well. How?" Lisa shrugged. "No one knows precisely, but it sounds like the pressure of the job made him choose work over everything else. She left the company. Since then, he's kept his distance, especially from employees. Maybe he's afraid of repeating the same mistake, especially after you two got a little closer at the dinner." Maya sat silently, trying to absorb it. She remembered Ethan's look that night, the sincere smile, then the sudden coldness afterward. "So he thinks I'm a risk?" she asked, voice laced with hurt. "Not you," Lisa said gently, "but how he feels around you. You made him laugh, Maya. That's not nothing. Not for someone like Carter. But he's the type to pull away when he feels out of control." Maya nodded, though her heart was a mess. She didn't want to believe Ethan saw her as a risk. She had caught glimpses of something different in him. when he praised her report and smiled at her ink-streaked face. But what could she do if he chose to shut the door on those moments? She decided to confront it. That afternoon, she knocked on Ethan's office door, gripping a folder of project updates as an excuse. "Come in," his voice called, calm and composed. Maya stepped inside, her heart pounding. Ethan sat behind his desk, his suit jacket off, his white shirt sleeves rolled up, and his eyes locked on his laptop screen. Surprised for a moment, he looked up, then masked it with his usual coolness. "Ms. Johnson, what can I do for you?" Maya said, "I have the project update and am placing the folder on his desk." But she didn't stop there. "And I want to ask something, Mr. Carter. Did I do something wrong? After the dinner, I feel like I've been pushed aside. If I overstepped or said something inappropriate, please tell me." Ethan stared at her, his eyes unreadable. He stood and walked to the window, hands in his pockets. "You didn't do anything wrong," he said quietly. "But maybe I let things go too far. The dinner, the conversations, they crossed the professional line. I don't want to create misunderstandings." Maya felt her chest tighten. "Misunderstandings?" she echoed. "Do you mean I misunderstood when you complimented, smiled, and called me dangerous? Was that a misunderstanding?" Ethan turned around, his expression conflicted for the first time. "Maya," he said, the first time he'd used her name without the formal title. "I'm not good at this. I let personal feelings interfere with work once before, and it hurt someone. I don't want to do that again." Maya took a deep breath, trying to stay composed. "I'm not asking you to be perfect, Mr. Carter. Just to be honest. If you want distance, I'll respect it. But don't make me feel like I was a mistake." She turned to leave, walking out before he could reply. She heard him repeat her name as she closed the door, but she didn't stop. Back at her desk, her heart was pounding, a mix of anger and sadness swirling inside her. But when she opened her bag that evening, a small envelope fell out. Inside was a note in Ethan's bold handwriting. "Maya, I don't think you're a mistake. I'm not enough for what you bring into my life. EC." Maya held the note, her thoughts tangled. She didn't know if it was an apology or a farewell, but she knew one thing. Ethan Carter was running, and she wasn't sure she had the strength to chase after him. Maya Johnson sat at her desk at Horizon Enterprises, the glow of the computer screen illuminating her face. But her mind wasn't there. It had been 3 days since she found Ethan Carter's note in her bag. "Maya, I don't think you're a mistake. I'm not worthy of what you bring. EC." That small slip of paper, folded neatly in her desk drawer, etched every word deep into her mind. She didn't know what to do with it. Throw it away, keep it, or confront Ethan one more time. That morning, she had received another email from Ethan, the same familiar cold tone. "Ms. Johnson, attend the project meeting at 2 p.m. Prepare a progress summary. EC." There was no sign that he had written that note, no extra words. Maya responded briefly, but inside, she was torn, part disappointment, part determination. She couldn't let things hang in the air like this. Not after he called her dangerous, smiled at her at La Belle, and withdrew as if she were a flame he didn't dare touch. Lisa, her friend and colleague, walked over with hot tea. Lisa said, "You look like you're about to declare war on someone," sitting by Maya's desk and still thinking about Carter. Maya sighed and pushed her chair back. "I don't want to think about it, Lisa. But he doesn't give me a choice. One day, he's complimenting me. The next, he's acting like I've got some contagious disease. On that note, he says I'm not a mistake, but his actions say the opposite." Lisa sipped her tea, her gaze sympathetic. I told you Carter has issues with emotions. After that failed relationship, he built a wall around himself. But that letter? That's a crack. Maybe he's struggling, Maya. The real question is, do you want to break that wall down? Maya stayed quiet, fingers tapping lightly on the desk. She thought of her moments with Ethan, the way he laughed when she wiped ink from her cheek, the way he looked at her during the dinner with Mrs. Clarkson, eyes sharp yet warm. But she also remembered his cold hallway nods, his emotionless emails. She said, I don't want to break down a wall if he doesn't open the door. But I need clarity. I can't do this job and constantly wonder what I did wrong. Lisa nodded. Then talk to him. Today. After the meeting. Don't let him run anymore. The project meeting occurred in the large conference room, sunlight pouring across the long wooden table. Ethan sat at the head, dressed in a navy blue suit, his eyes fixed on the presentation screen. Maya gave her progress summary with clarity and poise, though her heart pounded every time his gaze passed over her. When the meeting ended, she lingered, gathering her papers slowly. One by one, colleagues filed out, leaving her and Ethan alone in the quiet room. Ms. Johnson, Ethan said, standing, his tone steady. Good report. Is there anything else to discuss? Maya took a deep breath, setting the file down. Yes, Mr. Carter. Not about the project. About us. Ethan froze mid-adjusting his tie. He looked at her, a flicker of something passing through his eyes before he composed himself. Us? He repeated, voice low. That's right, Maya said, stepping forward, voice firm. I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm tired of guessing. You praise me, give me essential tasks, write a note saying I'm not a mistake, then act like I'm a problem. If I crossed a line, please tell me, but don't make me feel like I don't exist. Ethan said nothing. His eyes locked with hers. He turned and walked to the window, back facing her, hands in his pockets. You didn't do anything wrong, Maya, he said quietly. The problem is me. I let things go too far. The dinner and the conversations made me forget my place. I'm the CEO. You're an employee. I've made that mistake before, and it destroyed someone I cared about. Maya's chest tightened, but she didn't step back. So, keeping your distance protects me? Or protects you? Because that letter doesn't sound like it was written by someone who wants to be a boss. Ethan turned around, and his eyes betrayed his inner struggle for once. That letter was the truth. You're not a mistake. You're someone who makes me laugh, who makes this job feel like more than just numbers and reports. But I don't know how to balance that. I'm afraid if I let it go further, I'll hurt you, the way I hurt someone before. Maya took a few steps closer, standing just feet from him. I'm not her, Ethan, she said. The first time she used his name without the formal Mr. Carter. I don't need you to be perfect. I need you to be honest. If you want to stop whatever this is, I'll respect it. But if you keep running, we'll never know what this could be. Ethan looked at her as though searching for a reason to believe or to walk away. He inhaled deeply, his voice rough. You make me lose control, Maya. That's not something I'm used to. Losing control isn't bad, Maya replied, a faint smile flickering. But the choice is yours. She turned to leave, reaching the door, but Ethan called out, Maya, wait. She stopped, heart pounding. He stepped forward and pulled a folded sheet of paper from his pocket. I wrote this morning, but didn't dare to send it. Please read it. And give me time. Maya took the note, her fingers trembling slightly. She nodded without speaking and left the room. Back at her desk, she unfolded the letter. Ethan's handwriting. Neat, deliberate, full of emotion, read, "Maya, you're right. I am running. Not from you, but from what I feel. You make me want to try again. To be better. I can't promise it'll be easy, but I want to find a way. If you're willing, give me a chance. EC." Maya folded the letter carefully, her heart pounding. She looked out the window, sunlight spilling over the high-rise skyline. She didn't know if Ethan would keep his word or if she had the strength to walk this path. But in that moment, she felt a flicker of hope. That maybe, just maybe, they were standing at the edge of something new. Maya Johnson sat in a small cafe a few blocks from Horizon Enterprises headquarters, soft golden light from the hanging lamps illuminating the latte before her. Opposite her was Ethan Carter, no longer in his stern CEO suit, but wearing a pale blue shirt with rolled-up sleeves, his light brown hair tousled by the breeze. This was their first date, a secret meeting following Ethan's second letter, where he expressed his desire to explore a relationship. Maya still felt a flutter of disbelief that she was sitting across from the man she once mistook for an Uber driver, now her boyfriend. "What are you smiling at?" Ethan asked, furrowing his brow, though the corner of his mouth lifted. He stirred his black coffee slowly, as if trying to prolong the moment. "I was thinking," Maya replied, sipping her latte, "that 2 weeks ago I was yelling 'step on it' at you in the car, and now we're arguing over whether to pour syrup before milk or after. Life is weird." Ethan laughed, a deep, warm sound that surprised Maya whenever she heard it. "Syrup first, obviously," he said. "Milk dilutes the sweetness." "You're wrong, Maya. You may be the CEO, but that doesn't make you a coffee expert," Maya countered mock seriously. "Milk first balances it out." Ethan tilted his head, his gray-blue eyes sparkling with amusement. "You dared challenge me on coffee too? Brave move. You started it." Maya winked, feeling more relaxed than ever before. These moments, light, playful, free from work pressures, showed her that Ethan was more than a cold boss. He was a man who could laugh, tease, and sometimes even lose a silly coffee argument. They'd agreed to keep their relationship secret, at least within the company. Ethan, as CEO, didn't want rumors affecting either of them. Maya, a temporary employee, didn't want to be seen as the temp dating the boss. But secrecy wasn't easy. Maya's heart skipped a beat when their eyes met in the hallway, or Ethan sent an email with a hidden joke in his professional tone. She realized she was falling for him, not just because of his sharp gaze or rare smile, but because he listened and remembered her small preferences, like her love for vanilla lattes or her kitten socks. But the joy didn't come without worry. Maya's temp contract had 6 weeks left, and she didn't know if Horizon would renew it. She'd dreamed of becoming a communications strategist since university, but after her nonprofit cut funding, she'd taken temp jobs to make ends meet. Working at Horizon was a significant opportunity, but also a pressure-laden one, especially now that she was dating the CEO. One other evening, they met at the park near Maya's apartment, sitting on a bench under a street lamp. Ethan brought 2 takeaway coffees, 1 latte for her, 1 black for himself. "Are you okay?" he asked, noticing her thoughtful expression. "Are there no coffee arguments tonight?" Maya gave a small, tense smile, cupping her warm drink. "I'm fine. Just worried about the contract. It's ending soon, and I don't know where I'll be after that. I love working at Horizon, but sometimes wonder if I'm good enough to stay." Ethan looked at her thoughtfully. "Maya, you're the one who fixed a coffee machine in 3 minutes, wrote a report that received praise from senior management, and distracted Mrs. Clarkson like a secret agent. You're not just capable, you shine." Maya felt warmth in her cheeks, but she shook her head. "Thank you, but you're my boss. You have to say that." Ethan replied quietly, I'm not saying it because I'm your boss. I'm saying it because I see your work. You have talent, and you can do much more. If you want to stay at Horizon, I'll support you. Not because of us, but because you deserve it. Maya looked at him, and her heart raced. She believed his sincerity, but those words increased her anxiety. If I stay, people will think I got a sweet deal because of you. I don't want that, Ethan. I want to prove myself. Ethan nodded, his gaze full of respect. I understand, and I won't interfere unless you want me to. But promise me one thing. Don't doubt yourself. You're stronger than you think. She smiled, relief washing over her. Deal. But you have to promise me one thing too. Let me choose the cafe next time. This one doesn't have good vanilla lattes. Ethan laughed, shaking his head. You never back down. In the following days, they continued their secret meetups. A quick pizza dinner, a walk by the river, curling up in Ethan's car, listening to music, and talking about everything from childhood dreams to favorite movies. Maya loved hearing about Ethan's days as a junior employee, working 80-hour weeks to prove himself. She shared her nonprofit fundraising adventures and her dream to lead large-scale communications campaigns. At the office, they kept their distance. Ethan remained the austere CEO, sending emails signed by EC in a formal tone. Maya continued working diligently, avoiding her peers' curious glances. Only Lisa knew their secret, and she never missed an opportunity to tease her. You and Carter are like spy movie stars, she said one lunch, but you look happier. He's good for you, Maya. I think so too, Maya admitted, a slight smile on her lips. But I'm still nervous. What if my contract isn't renewed? Or if someone finds out about us? It could get messy. Lisa patted her shoulder. Enjoy it. You deserve to be happy. And if anyone says anything, I'll defend you. By spreading a rumor that Carter likes terrible coffee. Maya laughed. Genuine laughter, free of tension. She knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. But thinking of Ethan, the man who had written that letter asking for a chance, the one who remembered her taste for vanilla latte, she felt ready to face anything ahead. Maya Johnson sat at her desk in the Horizon Enterprises office, sunlight from the 9th floor window casting a warm glow on her laptop screen, where an email from Ethan Carter was open. Subject: New role proposal. The message was brief, but it made her heartbeat quicken. Ms. Johnson, I'd like you to consider the internal communications advisor role based on your interview video's success. Meeting to discuss on Wednesday, 10 a.m. EC. Maya reread the email, and a wave of excitement and apprehension washed over her. Internal communications advisor? That was a giant leap, closer to her long-held dream of becoming a communications strategist, something she'd imagined back in college. But she also knew she was still a temp employee without formal experience in this field. Can I do this? She murmured, tapping her fingers nervously on the desk. Her colleague and best friend Lisa walked in with a paper coffee cup. You look like someone who just won the lottery but thinks the ticket might be fake, she said, sitting beside Maya. What's going on? Maya turned the screen so Lisa could read the email. Ethan, Mr. Carter wants me to become the internal communications advisor because of the interview video. Lisa's mouth fell open. Then she clapped her hands. Maya, this is gold. You had the whole company laughing over your buried treasure line about Carter. You were born for communications, or born to be the office joke. Maya replied, half serious. Lisa, I've organized events for a nonprofit, sure. But internal comms? I don't have a formal degree in it. No official experience. If I mess up, people will think I got the role because... She lowered her voice because of Ethan and me. Lisa frowned and set her coffee down. Do you mean because you're secretly dating? Maya, you know that's not true. Carter isn't the type to show favoritism. He picked you because you're good. That video boosted team morale, even attracted new applicants. You earned this. Maya nodded, but doubt still churned in her chest. She remembered her university days, leading her communications class and drafting strategy plans for mock campaigns with fiery passion. But after graduation, she'd taken temp jobs to pay off loans. That dream had faded into the background. This opportunity felt like a light at the end of a tunnel, but also a massive test. The Wednesday meeting took place in a small conference room with just Ethan, Maya, and Elena, the head of the communications department. In a crisp black suit, Ethan presented the idea, a new internal campaign to boost employee engagement, inspired by the authenticity of Maya's interview video. He said Ms. Johnson had shown a natural ability to connect, his gaze briefly touching hers, warm for a second, before reverting to professional calm. I'd like her to help develop content, such as newsletters, short videos, and internal messaging. Elena nodded, though her eyes studied Maya with quiet skepticism. Do you have any communications experience, Ms. Johnson? She asked, polite but sharp. Maya took a deep breath, steadying her voice. I've organized events and handled basic outreach for a nonprofit. I don't have formal internal comms experience, but I learn fast and connect well with people. Ethan added, his tone neutral. Ms. Johnson demonstrated this in the 10th floor report and during the anniversary event. She's capable. The meeting ended with an agreement. Maya would test the role for 1 month, starting with her first internal newsletter. After Elena left, Ethan lingered. You all right? He asked in a low voice. A bit overwhelmed, Maya admitted, offering a faint smile. Thanks for the opportunity, Ethan. I worry I'm not good enough. He stepped closer, expression serious. Maya, I didn't give you this role because of personal feelings. I gave it because I see potential. Don't let pressure make you doubt yourself. She nodded, warmth spreading inside her. But the real pressure began. The absolute pressure started when she returned to her desk. Carl, a colleague from the communications team, gave her a pointed look when he heard the news. Communications advisor, huh? He said with a mocking tone. Fast climb, from temp to corporate darling. It must be nice to have someone upstairs rooting for you. Maya clenched her fists, but kept her voice calm. I was chosen because of my work, Carl. If you have an issue, please get in touch with Elena. Carl shrugged and walked off, but his words hit like a needle to her confidence. She sat down, opened her laptop, and began drafting the newsletter. But every sentence felt wrong. She deleted and rewrote it over and over. What am I doing? She whispered. I don't belong here. That evening, she met Ethan at a cozy diner where they often snuck away for quiet dinners. He noticed her serious expression immediately. What's wrong? He asked, setting the menu down. You're not arguing about pizza versus pasta. This isn't like you. Maya sighed and told him about Carl and her fear of failing. I know you believe in me, Ethan, but if I mess this up, everyone will say I only got the job because of us. I don't want that label. Ethan reached across the table, gently taking her hand. His voice was steady. Maya, people will always talk, but you're not here because of me. You're here because you made the company smile with one video. After all, you fixed a coffee machine when no one else cared, and you can improve things. Focus on the work. Let me deal with the whispers. Maya smiled, a little more at ease. You're good at this comforting thing, Carter. Do they teach that in CEO school? Nope, he grinned. I learned it from the girl who told me to step on it. She laughed. Her first genuine laugh that day. Confidence flickered back. She knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. Carl's resentment, The weight of a new role, the quiet judgment from peers, but with Ethan beside her, and her self-belief slowly rebuilding, Maya was ready. She would prove that she belonged, not just to Horizon, but to the dream she'd never really let go of. Maya Johnson stood before the mirror in the staff lounge of Horizon Enterprises, adjusting the deep wine-red dress that Lisa had insisted she wear to the company Christmas party. "You need to stand out," Lisa had said, as she dragged Maya out shopping. Not temporary employee stand out. More like internal comm star stand out. Maya smoothed her curls, added a touch more red lipstick, and whispered to herself, "Just don't spill anything. Don't trip. And don't let Carl ruin the night." The resentful communications colleague Carl hadn't stopped with the passive-aggressive digs since Maya had taken on the internal communications advisor role. His snide comments, like it must be lovely having robust backing, made her grit her teeth. But she was determined to prove herself through her work. Her first internal newsletter, filled with light-hearted employee stories and a short video about company culture, received great feedback. But tonight's Christmas party, with the entire staff and senior leadership present, was a different test. The banquet hall shimmered with festive decor, a glowing Christmas tree, tables stacked with gingerbread cookies and mulled wine, and a small dance floor lit by soft disco lights. Maya entered, gripping Lisa's hand for support. "Mission 1, get cookies," Lisa whispered, tugging her toward the buffet. "Mission 2, avoid Carl. Mission 3, find Carter. Ethan might not come," Maya replied, picking up a star-shaped cookie. "He's not a party person, and we're still keeping things quiet." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "Keeping things quiet?" "Maya, the entire office watches you two like it's a rom-com. They just haven't said it out loud yet." Before Maya could respond, the lights dimmed, and applause echoed through the room. Ethan Carter entered, wearing a deep navy suit with no tie, his light brown hair neatly styled, steel-gray eyes scanning the space. He looked more relaxed than usual, but still carried the commanding presence of a CEO. Maya's heart pounded when his eyes landed on her. He gave a subtle nod, slight, but enough to make her blush. "She's blushing," Lisa teased, nudging her. "He came for you. I'm betting a glass of mulled wine on it." Ethan made his way through the crowd, greeting a few department heads, but Maya quickly realized he was headed toward her. Before she could fully prepare, he stood before her, voice calm and rich. "Ms. Johnson, you look perfectly festive." "Thank you, Mr. Carter," Maya replied, trying to keep her tone steady. "You're not so bad yourself, though you're missing a Santa hat." Ethan chuckled, his eyes glinting. "I left it in the office. Care to dance?" Maya blinked. "Dance? In public? In front of the whole company?" I'm not a great dancer," she said, glancing around. Colleagues were already watching, their expressions curious, amused. "Just one dance," Ethan said, extending his hand. "I'm not great either. We can be terrible together." Maya hesitated, but the sincerity in his gaze made her nod. She placed her hand in his, feeling the warmth of his touch. They stepped onto the dance floor, surrounded by twinkling lights and slow music. Maya focused on not stepping on his shoes, but the closeness. Ethan's hand gently at her waist made it hard to breathe. "You okay?" he murmured. "Just trying not to stomp on your foot," she replied, smiling. "And not let the whole company think I danced like a malfunctioning robot." Ethan laughed, drawing glances from nearby tables. "You dance better than I do, Maya. Let them gossip. I don't care." But not everyone was enjoying the moment. From across the room, Carl stood holding a glass of wine, eyes cold and fixed on them. As the song ended, Maya and Ethan left the floor, only to be intercepted by Carl near the dessert table. "Nice moves out there, Johnson," he said with a mocking grin. "Dancing skills help you climb the ladder to advisor pretty fast." Maya clenched her fists, ready to reply, but Carl accidentally bumped into her before she could speak. She lost balance, stumbling into a tray of drinks, and a glass of red wine splashed across her dress, leaving a glaring stain. The room fell silent. All eyes turned toward her. Maya stood frozen, face burning with humiliation. Carl shrugged, pretending innocence. "Oops, I didn't see you there." But Ethan was beside her in seconds. He took off his blazer and draped it over her shoulders, voice low but firm. "But, Ms. Johnson, are you all right?" I'm fine," Maya said, her voice shaking. She wanted to disappear, but Ethan's steady gaze helped her hold it together. He turned to Carl, eyes like steel. "You should be more careful, Carl. If you have concerns about Ms. Johnson's work, bring them to me or Elena. Not here." Carl paled, muttered an apology, and quickly slipped into the crowd. Ethan led Maya to a quiet corner, grabbing napkins from a nearby table and gently blotting her dress. "Are you sure you're okay?" he asked, his voice softer now. "It's just a dress," Maya said, managing a half smile. "But I just starred in a disaster play. Again." Ethan looked at her, eyes sincere. "Maya, you're not just performing. You're the heartbeat of this place, through your videos, newsletters, and how you handle people like Carl. I'm proud of you." Her eyes stung, but she smiled. "Thanks, Ethan. But next time, I'm bringing a raincoat." He laughed, resting a hand on her shoulder. "You don't need a raincoat. You've survived worse, like mistaking me for your Uber driver." Maya burst into laughter, and in that moment, surrounded by Christmas lights and the distant hum of music, her confidence returned. She wasn't just the interview girl or the temp. She was Maya Johnson, finding her place and her voice. Ethan was beside her, and she knew she could face anything ahead. Maya Johnson stepped out of the elevator at Horizon Enterprises, a message from Ethan Carter lighting up her phone. "Meet me on the rooftop, 8 p.m. I've got something to show you. EC." She frowned slightly, checking the time. 7:55 p.m. The rooftop. Ethan wasn't the kind of man who did spontaneous meetings in strange places. They'd agreed to keep their relationship low-key at work. What is he up to? Pitching a business plan under moonlight? She murmured, heart racing with curiosity. She was dressed simply in a navy sweater and jeans, after a long day of drafting the second internal newsletter, which had been well received by her colleagues, except Carl, who still eyed her with thinly veiled jealousy. Her relationship with Ethan, no longer a secret after their Christmas party dance, still left her uneasy under public scrutiny. But Ethan always reassured her, they'll get used to it, and if not, that's their problem. She pushed open the door to the rooftop and froze. Her breath caught. The space had been completely transformed. Delicate LED string lights draped along the railings like stars. A small table stood at the center, with 2 glasses of red wine and a simple bouquet of white daisies. Soft violin music is played from a hidden Bluetooth speaker. Ethan stood near the edge, wearing a white shirt with rolled-up sleeves and dark slacks. His gray-blue eyes lit up as he saw her. "What is all this?" Maya asked as she stepped closer, half surprised, half suspicious. "Is this a secret meeting, or are you filming a commercial for Horizon?" Ethan chuckled, walking toward her and gently taking her hand. "No meeting, no commercial, just a moment outside the office. I hope you don't mind." "Mind?" No, Maya said, glancing around. But I am a little nervous. The last time you surprised me like this, I had to distract Mrs. Clarkson. What is it this time? An investor who wants to salsa? Ethan laughed, guiding her toward the table. No investors. Just me, you, and… He paused, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Maya froze. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time. Her heart thundered in her chest. Ethan, she whispered, eyes fixed on the box. Don't tell me you're doing what I think you're doing. Ethan lowered to one knee and opened the box. Inside was a simple silver ring with a glimmering blue stone. His eyes met hers, vulnerable, sincere, a rare expression on the face of a man who was always so composed. Maya Johnson, he began, voice steady but full of feeling. I entered a black car that morning, thinking it was a routine day. Then you jumped in, told me to step on it, showed off cat socks and pizza, and turned my whole world upside down. Maya let out a teary laugh. You still haven't forgiven the socks, have you? Never, Ethan smiled faintly. And I don't want to. I want to hold on to every moment. Every time you make me laugh, challenge me, and make me want to be better. You're my beautiful chaos, Maya. You brought color into a world I thought was only black and white. Tears slid down her cheeks as she covered her mouth. Ethan's voice turned hoarse. I know I'm not easy to love. Too serious, too busy, and I'll probably forget anniversaries occasionally. But with you, everything feels simpler. Maya Johnson, will you marry me? Will you stay with me, laugh at my ridiculous emails, and help me make this life something better? Together? Maya stood frozen, overwhelmed. She thought of their journey, the accidental car ride, the awkward meetings, the challenges on the 10th floor, their dance at the holiday party. Ethan wasn't just the cold CEO. He was the man who wrote her a heartfelt letter, held her hand in the park, and believed in her even when she didn't believe in herself. She took a deep breath, wiped her tears, and smiled. Ethan Carter, I'll marry you. But on one condition. You must help with the dishes and never complain about my cat socks scattered around the house. Ethan laughed, rising to his feet and sliding the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly, as if made just for her. He wrapped her in his arms and whispered, Deal. But I reserve the right to protest if you leave pizza socks in the kitchen. Maya burst out laughing, leaning into his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Under the twinkling lights, they stood there, the city skyline stretching behind them like a glowing tapestry. All her fears about contracts, judgmental glances, the uncertain future, melted away in that moment. How long have you been planning this? She asked, looking up at him. Since the Christmas party, Ethan admitted, gently brushing her hair back. When you stood up after the wine spill, still smiling and joking, that's when I knew I couldn't lose you. Maya shook her head, feigning seriousness. So, you proposed because I spilled wine? Love is strange. No, he said, kissing her forehead. Because you're Maya. I want every day to be strange, like that. They sat down, sipping wine and discussing the future. A small wedding, maybe right here on this rooftop, with Lisa as maid of honor, and a vanilla-flavored cake. Maya joked about wearing cat socks under her dress, making Ethan groan with laughter. But as the lights dimmed and the violin melody shifted to a slow, dreamy tune, Maya felt a quiet certainty settle into her heart. She had found the person she wanted to walk this path with, no matter where it led. Maya Johnson stood before the mirror in the small waiting room atop the rooftop of Horizon Enterprises. Light from the LED strings outside shimmered through the window. Her wedding dress, a soft white silk gown adorned with tiny pearls, hugged her figure, glowing against her warm brown skin. Lisa, her best friend and maid of honor, was adjusting the veil, her eyes already misty before the ceremony began. "You're not allowed to cry, Maya," Lisa said hoarsely. "If you cry, I'll cry, and we'll look like pandas in front of the guests." Maya laughed, dabbing the corners of her eyes. "I'm not crying. I can't believe I'm here, marrying the man I once yelled at to hit the gas in a stranger's car." She looked into the mirror, memories flooding back. The mistaken car ride, the embarrassing first meeting, the tense battles on the 10th floor, and finally, the rooftop proposal that changed everything. Ethan Carter, the once intimidating CEO, had become the man she loved, the one who made her believe in herself again. The wedding was as they'd wanted, simple, intimate, shared only with close friends and family. The rooftop was decorated with white daisies, twinkling lights, and a small table with a vanilla wedding cake. Maya's choice, even though Ethan joked that he preferred chocolate. The invitation cards read, "If you laugh, you're in the spirit. If you trip, you're welcome. If you got in the wrong car once, you understand the theme." The door opened, and Lisa patted her shoulder. "Ready, bride? Carter's out there looking like he's about to faint." Maya nodded, took a deep breath, and stepped out. Soft violin music filled the air, and under the golden glow, she saw Ethan waiting at the end of the aisle. He wore a light blue suit and a pocket square embroidered with a cartoon cat hugging a donut. A humorous gift from Maya, a nod to their first meeting. He looked at her, his gray-blue eyes glowing, and she saw him swallow hard, trying to steady himself. As Maya reached him, he took her hand and whispered, "You're even more beautiful than I imagined. I might faint." "Don't you dare," she replied with a wink. "Who'll do the dishes if you collapse?" The guests chuckled, and the ceremony began. The officiant, an old friend of Ethan's, told the story of how they met. It was a non-existent Uber ride that led to a very real love, making everyone laugh. Maya and Ethan read their vows, heartfelt and humorous. "I vow to love you, Maya," Ethan said in his deep, warm voice. "Even when you scatter cat socks all over the house, argue about coffee, and make me write emotional reports by hand. You're my light, and I'll do everything to keep you happy." Maya smiled, her eyes sparkling. "I vow to love you, Ethan, even when you forget your email password for the 10th time, send work emails at midnight, or complain about my pizza socks. You're the one who made me dream bigger, and I want to create magic with you, together." As they exchanged rings, Lisa wiped away tears, and one of Maya's uncles accidentally dropped confetti early, causing a burst of laughter across the rooftop. They kissed under the twinkling lights as applause rose and the music swelled. The reception buzzed with joy, dancing, laughter, and the vanilla cake was cut amid cheers. Maya and Ethan shared their first dance to the same slow song from the Christmas party, but this time, there were no judging eyes, no worries, just the two wrapped in the moment. "You know," Ethan whispered as he pulled her closer, "I almost told you I wasn't the Uber driver that day. Good thing I kept my mouth shut." "Good thing indeed," Maya replied, resting her head on his shoulder. "Otherwise, I might have missed out on this amazing husband." As the night wore down, they stood under the rooftop lights, hands entwined, gazing at the glowing city skyline. Maya was now a full-time employee at Horizon, confidently leading internal communications campaigns. Ethan remained CEO, but now one who had learned to balance work and love, unafraid of his emotions. They talked about the future, a cozy home with a personal coffee nook, weekend getaways, and maybe even adopting a cat to match Maya's quirky socks. "When I first saw you," Ethan said, brushing her hair gently, "I thought you were a storm. Now I know. You're the storm I want to live in forever." Maya smiled, kissing his cheek. "And you're the driver I never want to get out on, no matter how slow you go." They stood beneath the lights and fading music, knowing they had found each other from one fateful mistake, and a future full of laughter, love, and the world's oddest sock collection.